Before the war had even started, the North was predicted to win. Having vast economic advantages, the North boasted a higher population and therefore a larger army. With better industrial development and a vast railroad system, the South appealed to have already lost. A true underdog, the South remained evenly matched with the North for as long as it did, thanks to generals like Robert E. Lee. Using military cohesion and incredible leadership skills, the Confederacy put up a long and determined fight. Robert E. Lee was a brilliant strategist. He was very organized and used the South's geography to his advantage in guerrilla warfare.
I think Lee's army, and not Richmond's, is your true objective point. Abraham Lincoln.
I shall throw an overwhelming force on their advance, crush it, follow up the success, and virtually destroy the Army of Potomac. Robert E. Lee. We'll fight, sir, till hell freezes over, and then, sir, we will fight them on the ice. Confederate soldier at Gettysburg. So Robert E. Lee was a really great military general because he had superior military tactics. Like in the battle at Chancellorsville, he had his men go in the sides, flanks of the Union Army, and so he took them down little by little as opposed to just going straight in for the kill. And he really believed in like an active, aggressive army instead of being passive.
Lee also used the terrain to his advantage in guerrilla warfare. Having the war primarily fought in the South gave his men the upper hand and ultimately helped the underdog's cause.
Fire!
Battle of Antietam, which occurred on September 17th in 1862. Although Lee was fighting an unfair fight of 2-1, he still managed to put forth a good fight. While the Union only decided to put forth less than 3/4 of their army in one of the bloodiest battles to take place in the Civil War, Lee chose to put in all of his manpower.
Charge!
The Battle of Chancellorsville, which occurred on April 30th in 1863, was considered to be Robert E. Lee's greatest battle. When Hooker, a Union major, began acting defensively, Lee had the intelligent initiative to show off their offensive skills. Lee worked together with Stonewall Jackson to come up with a plan that would force the Union soldiers onto a flank. The Union lost this battle due to lack of organization, communication, and Lee's fantastic leadership. Robert E. Lee was considered to be a good Christian man, and his reputation was not far from the truth. He had a kind heart and treated his soldiers with fairness and respect. Because of this, his men regarded him highly, and he was able to stay a successful leader for a long time. Lee, unlike many military leaders of his era, would not sacrifice thousands of soldiers for a victory.
I think it better to do right, even if we suffer in so doing, than to incur the reproach of our consciences and posterity. Robert E. Lee. So Robert E. Lee was a really big supporter for his men. He was almost like a counselor for them, and they all really looked up to him because he was such a strong leader. And so in the military, that's something that you really want as a leader that's that strong. And the men almost like idolized him because he was so great.
Part of Lee's military success was due to the strong relationship between soldier and commanding officer. The mutual respect and Lee's good communication skills helped the South last as long as it did in the Civil War. Robert E. Lee came to the aid of the Confederacy in all of the right ways. His brilliant leadership and military tactics gave the underdogs many surprising wins, ultimately keeping them in the race. A hero even up to this day, the Southern Army wouldn't have survived for as long as it did without Robert E. Lee.